esperem que en una altra ocasió el puguem convidar i pugui ser-hi.
Voldria saber la meva opinió.
Thank you very much, everybody. Really nice to be here in this nice town of Barcelona. Unfortunately, we live in a world that is a world led by the dictatorship of the mainstream media. We do not have often opinions and informations. We have images and we have cliches. The image of Pakistan in international media right now is that all the men, they have big beards, and all the women, they go around in big burqas. I promise, in Pakistan, most of the men, they use Gillette razors, and 70% of the women, they live on countryside. It's very hot weather. They cannot have big burqas and work in the fields. I will try to present also another side of Pakistan, which often goes missing in the mainstream media. Pakistan of the trade union movement, left movement, women movement, and democracy movement. Pakistan has a proud tradition of fighting for democracy, for women's rights, minority rights, human rights, and international solidarity. What unfortunately is happening last few years, and especially last few weeks, it's not the Pakistan that people of Pakistan have built. It's the Pakistan that USA has imposed on us. It's a Pakistan where, for the first time perhaps, terrorism has really won. For the last 2 weeks, schools have been closed, universities have been closed. People are so afraid to send their children to school. They're so afraid to go out shopping. They're so afraid going out to cafes, to restaurants, to cinema, to theater. Everything is closed. It's been like 2 or 3 weeks now. In the last about 4 years, 6,000 people have been killed in different terrorist acts. 2,000 soldiers have been killed. And if we believe the Pakistan military, which people often don't believe, they have killed perhaps 4,000 Taliban. The American drones have attacked Pakistan 48 times in last about 4 years. 600 people have been killed in these US attacks. It's a country really on fire. The people of Pakistan, they had democracy, they had another future built for them in 1970s, and then this democracy was given a bloodbath. In 2002, we were told that democracy is now reaching Afghanistan on B-52s and drones and all that, sent by Bush. We are not told that until 1973, there were 13 general elections in Afghanistan. Okay, maybe not fair, but not as rigged as the election rigged by Guerra a few months ago. There was bad or good, whatever you call it, there was a kind of socialist revolution, many call it a coup d'etat in 1978 in Afghanistan. And this government, and even before this government, women had much different life in Afghanistan, especially in Kabul, in Jalalabad, in big towns. To make this country, or to make this government change in Afghanistan a failure, USA intervened in 1979. Taliban, that we talk about a lot, it means student. They came out of madrasas, what you call Quran schools as well. In these madrasas, they were learning something like this. P for pistol, G for gun, something K for knife, things like that. You kill 2 Russians, you injure 2 more Russians, how much does it make? And this syllabus, these primers, they were written in the Nebraska University of USA. And they spent $51 million on this project. This is what New York Times has reported just a few years ago, not me myself. During this war, this period, almost 30,000 madrasas have been built in Pakistan. 40% of our annual budget, it goes to IMF and World Bank. Another 40% goes to Pakistan. Pakistan military, hardly 1% for health and 1% for education. So poor people, they have no choice. They send their children to these Quran schools. 1.5 million children are studying in these 30,000 madrasas, the Quran schools. In Afghanistan, we were told we will liberate women there. We will build roads, we will build schools, we will build hospitals. What has happened 8 years down the line? I was in Kabul just a year ago, which is like the best town they have been able to build. Almost 20,000 troops safeguarding it. There was electricity hardly for three hours in the capital, only 3 hours. Except one street that goes from airport to heart of the town where only rich people live. There was not a single road, not a single street that they were able to pave. It was dirt roads. There was majority of the women either going in burqa or at least covering their head, and they were so scared on the roads, they were so afraid on the road, and all the time so much harassed on the roads that many girls told me, we wish we had Taliban. No schools, no hospitals, no roads, no jobs, nothing. And Taliban are back at least in 22 provinces out of 34. And they have a president and a government that has to cheat after 8 years, that has to cheat to win an election. And this president is president of only the palace he lives. He has no control even over Kabul. Problem is, when you have an occupation, you have a government that serves the occupation, the empire, the USA, not the people of Afghanistan, Pakistan or Iraq. You cannot have democracy under an occupation. The crisis in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, it demands a local movement for peace and international solidarity against war, an end to US occupation of Afghanistan, Iraq, and escalation of war in Pakistan. It is the US presence in the region, it is the US policies in the region that create instability, that create poverty through IMF and World Bank, through loans, through bribes, through selling of weapons. USA must leave that region. But it will not leave by itself. It will lead another kind of Vietnam days. To beat fundamentalism and to beat imperialism, there are two sides of the same coin for us. We have to build an international solidarity. You will have to build this sport around people who are secular, who are liberal, who are left, the trade union movements, the women movements, the feminist movements, these kind of groups. And I think that in majority in these countries, this is possible to do it, we have to do it.